It's a subtle subject. It's difficult. I don't want to be wrong. I was pretty lucky this year to have talk at the PDC with David Cook, which is one of the best for gold porphyry, John Dale, Russ Large, and also Sidito. They don't agree, so there's no consensus at the moment on the gold porphyry, but it's there. So on the first page, I put all the elements that I think are characteristic of a gold porphyry. So of course we have the stockwork inside the porphyry. We have the gold-bearing chalcopyrite, very fine in the veinlets. We have a lithocap above. We have calc-potassic alteration with fluorine, and we have the spikerite veins. They can be also disseminated in that case. And also we have disseminated chalcopyrite because sometimes there's some previous alteration that were there, and instead of forming vein, it's going to go into as dissemination. Okay, so too bad for the people who are not there, so you're missing the opportunity to maybe to figure out that you were dealing with a gold porphyry and their system. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so disclaimer. So I did so all the information is coming from 43-101 that I did with Michael Feinstein. So Michael Feinstein, I'm together with him with Mineoro. So it's a company that provide project and studies on project. So the program proposed for today, so it's the Resume the Cimarron project, its location, the main difference between gold and porphyry system. And once again, that's a big talk, so I'm going to be like very general on this. Geological context for the Cimarron project, indicative of feature that Cimarron would be a gold porphyry system. The alkaline alteration component, which is very important in these systems. We have also advanced hydraulic alteration that was recognized by Michelle Robinson. So thank you, Michelle, very good work. You're right. And also similar porphyry gold deposit in the world, and the conclusion. So that's the program. Okay, so Cimarron. So now I'm going to sound promotional. Sorry. So I think it has the potential to become one of the next economic gold deposit in Mexico. You can remove the million ounce, it's just going to be economic. So it's located in a porphyry gold belt in Sinaloa, and we know it extends from Arizona to Jalisco, because in Jalisco there's some porphyry system, I tell you. So that was working with Almedex. So Rosario, Rosario region, it's a gold silver mining district that produced from the beginning of the century. So here you can see the word Calerita. So Calerita, it's the gold porphyry deposit within the Cimarron mineralized system. So there's systems, so there's multiple things going on. So Calerita is only 3.7 million tons at 0.65. That's an inferred mineral resource that was made by Stolden in 2012. And also GR did some work. Thank you, GR. So they drilled property. They did some diamond drilling. So for the first time, we had some very good core to be able to understand what type of mineralization it is. And also, I have to give them, they're the first that claim that it is a gold porphyry. So good. I totally agree with you guys. Good work. Whoops. Something happened. Whoops. Okay. And also, so we have a total of 13,000 meters of 106 drill holes, and the problem is they're mostly RC, so we don't have that much core to understand. So it's very precious. So this is one where I do resampling and doing flat samples to not do quarters, or else you don't have enough core to be able to understand. Okay, so, and also there's many outer zone that are very high grade. They're related to spikerite, but also to high sulfidation mineralization that was recognized once again by Michelle Robinson. And also GR, I agree with them. So there's some similitude with some of the Maricunga deposit from the Maricunga belt in Chile. So The location, it's located 44 kilometers to the southeast of Mazatlan. It's 20 kilometers north of Rosario town, which is there. And it's 11 kilometers from the highway, pretty flat, perfect setting, thank you God. Okay, so Mazatlan is not just a touristic town, there's also a deep sea port, which is very strategic to do exportation of metal in North America and Asia. Okay, so the juice, the fun stuff. Okay, so the difference between, it's like I'm going to a trap, but I have to go there, sorry. Okay, so the difference between copper and gold porphyry. As you can see, they have similar shape. But they're, maybe it's like the difference between an Asian and a white guy, you know? So maybe it's just a matter of race. So they have similar shape. So you have the heart of the system in both cases. So you have your potassic alteration surrounding your intrusive. So the difference there, so in the porphyry, in the copper porphyry, it's just potassic. But so talking with David Cook, for him, his experience with the gold porphyry, they were mostly calc-potassic. So we have other minerals in there, so hotter mineral like actinolite, so and albite. So of course we have this, we have albite, we have plagioclase at the bottom of the porphyry when we have hot temperature, but here we have other things. We have fluorine, we have calcium in the alteration, which is not common for a porphyry. Also we have a lithocap. So the lithocap here, as you can see, so in the heart of the system, you're going to see some albite. So it's a totally different lithocap from a porphyry. And also you have some weird minerals are not supposed to be there, like tremolite and carbonate, because you don't have that in a copper porphyry. So, but also you're going to have some so it's a lithocap, so you're going to have advanced hydraulic alteration, and you're going to end up with residual quartz. But it's not going to be the same volume, say the same, like a very large overprint like a soul salt. It's going to be, in my opinion, I think it's going to be more structurally controlled. What else to say? And also, of course, we have the sodic alteration, which is albite, quartz, and hematite. So it overprints the rock. I'm going to show some examples. So yeah, so that's the main difference. Of course, we still have the diatreme, we have the tourmaline breccia that we have on both systems. That's the one of the common points. For intermediate sulfidation, I don't want to go there. I had a talk with Tom Albinson, and I don't want to hang up myself, so I'm not ready to answer that at the moment, if there's any difference. Okay, that's a figure I like a lot. So that's from Enrich, 2014. He won the prize for this figure in 2019. So, and John Deals agree with him. So it's a nice figure. So it's a simple way to explain that the deeper is going to be your porphyry, the more chance you're going to have to separate your vapor phase from your liquid phase. So you're going to separate your gold from your copper. So, this is why when we are the closer the apophysis of the intrusive is going to be able to come to the surface, the more chance you're going to have to mix your gold with your copper together in the chalcopyrite. That's fresh information from David Cook from his presentation at PDAC. Thank you, David. So as you can see, he's showing an example of a very fine apophysis. They call that pencil porphyries. So that has the capability to go closer to surface, but also it's obvious we have a strong structural control to do that. So as you can see around it, we have biotite alteration and the andesite, so very strong overprint of potassic alteration. And as you can see, the intrusive is pretty oxidized. So it shows that we're closer to surface. And maybe that we have albite alteration above it. Whoops. Hey, that's too much. Sorry about that. Okay, and also, so that's as you can see. So that's just the morphology. So when we have gold porphyry, we suspect that we have Pluton and we have more structural control and have capability to go higher. That reminds me of Santo Tomas, but that's another story. That was a talk in 2021. So that gives an idea. And also we can talk about stock, what we don't have in the gold porphyry. And also the zonation. So here we have in blue. So that's Ridgeway. That's a section from the Ridgeway porphyry, gold porphyry deposit. So, and there's a really strong structural control in there. So it was like dismembered at one point, but there's a preserved part there. So that's Ridgeway. And Ridgeway, it's quite a decent deposit in Wales and Australia. So in green, we have the calc-potassic alteration, and the blue is the contour of the 1.5 gram per ton. So we can see the clear relation with the calc-potassic alteration and the gold. So that's a typical feature from the gold porphyry. Okay, so that's fresh information also from at the PDC. So presentation from Russ Large. So he had the database for 16 of the biggest, the most important, 16 of the most important gold porphyry in the world, all the database, and he's very empirical vision. So he treat all the data, and he come up with this. So to make it simple for him, looking at the data based on these 16 deposits, and there's way more, to confirm that this is just like preliminary information. There's a tendency to have more like syenitic magma and dioritic magma. So the monzonite would be more fertile for copper gold deposit, and the other ones would be more appropriate for the gold porphyry. Okay. So that's a deposit I had the chance to study in Brazil. So at the beginning it was supposed to be intrusive related gold deposit. So that's a garbage term to when you have gold and intrusive. Oh, it's an intrusive related gold deposit, you know. So and I like Goldfarb also. He referred to that and we're making fun of it. So we cannot call that an intrusive gold deposit. We have to find out what it is, in what subclass it fits. So that fits in the alkaline intrusive of Reis complex. So we have, so that's a pertitic intrusive. We can, I don't know what it was. There's so much alteration. I was never able to have a piece of core to figure out what was the protolith. But as you can see the strong sodic alteration. So albite, quartz, and hematite. So that's typical of these systems. And I'm not a good geologist. I'm good. We have beautiful tools in our time. So that's LIBS core scanning. And LIBS is super powerful because it gives you all the elements, all the light elements. And in the gold, I'm trying to kill it myself to say to people like volatile are very important. And also Goldfarb mentioned about that. The volatiles play a big role in the gold fluids. So that's a zoom, and we change the color because red is more intense, so we can see. So the red, and so that's a potassium. Huh? So we can see the potassium. So we can see the pertite with the albite, and all the blue is the second generation of albite with the sodic alteration, and here it's a cerussite that's superposed to it. So very complex system. So I think there was a Macario. I really appreciate what you did today. It's really important to figure out what is the event that brings the metal that we want, or else we just unting whatever. Okay, and also that's a methodology I developed in Canada with my friends. So that GTP, so we extract all the gold particles and we're able to figure out on what mineral they were glued, so we can make a simple association and obvious association. So in that case, the gold is associated to pyrite. This is it. So as you can see, we can recognize the shape of the cubic pyrite. And for this, and also is quartz and cerussite together, so QSP obviously. Does the QSP was breaking gold? I don't know, but I know it has a capability to remobilize. I know that. Okay, another picture. So so in that case, we suspect that we have a gold endowment in intrusive because there was gold related to chalcopyrite and to sphalerite also. So as you can see here on the image, so that's the copper here, and as you can see, the silver, and also silver and gold goes together. But silver comes in higher concentration, so we can see it in different places in the matrix. So everything was disseminated. But right now, I'm too far from the main subject. Let's come back to Cimarron. And before going to Cimarron, so that's a picture of, so Cimarron is a little bit like this. So GR compared to Refugio, so that's the one example of Maricunga porphyry gold deposit. So you have your diorite, and you have a clear relation with the gold with a density of vein, 1.5 gram per ton to 0.5. So if you remember, it's approximately the type of grade that we have at the Quellerita deposit. That's a long talk. I don't have time to go there, and time flies. So, okay. So we are located in the gold porphyry belt, and in the copper porphyry belt. So of course, we have, the most obvious one is Santo Tomas. And at the beginning, Santo Tomas, people were thinking it was IUCG. So with Miguel Quintana, I think we're the first people that really demonstrate with the characterization that we're dealing with copper porphyry. Before, it was not clear. So, so we have also, whoops. And thank you, Miguel, for information for the Barrio Thank you. So it gives an idea of the resource that we have. Mapea was supposed to talk with the person that worked on that project before. I didn't meet him before, so information to complete. So as you can see, I separate in 3 classes. So the copper moly, the copper gold, and also the gold copper. So remember that figure with the depth of the porphyries, intrusive. So Malpica and Azurita, so it gives an idea. So what's going to happen, we have a little bit higher concentration of copper and a little bit higher concentration of gold, but just a little bit. And also when it comes, and for gold porphyry, I don't have nothing. So seriously, I'm putting that here. El Gallo, they're not sure what it is. Tango, it's not super clear also. And Trinidad, it was interpreted as low sulfidation by Morgan Poliquin, and I trust him. And also SRK come later, and they're talking about intermediate sulfidation. And for me, when I'm looking at it, at the data, there's some very strong potassic alteration with biotite, so there's something hot that produced that potassic alteration. So, and that gives an idea of the range of grade that we can have there, of resource. Okay, so just zoom on Cimarron. So Cimarron is located between Malpica and Tango, and they are copper-gold, gold-copper porphyry. And there's an alignment with Mazatlan. So do we have porphyry in Mazatlan? I don't know. And we don't care. Okay, so that's the good work of Paula Montoya. So a very good regional map. We don't see that much. And also it fits pretty well with the geophysics. And Cimarron is located in the middle. So as you can see, there's the Tango is here, Malpica is there, Los Azules, same thing. And Macay, for me, it's a project I visit, and I saw some high sulfidation mineralization there. So it's the type of system, and Trinidad is just here with some limit porphyry things. Okay. Timing. So the basement is metasediments. Everything is covered by lower volcanics, nothing new. Because we have subduction, we have multiple generation of batholith. We don't care about that. What we care is the porphyric intrusive. So we have diorite to monzonite. And do we have a specific magma to go with each type of deposit? I don't know. I cannot answer. So, but we have both type of deposit in that case, and everything is covered by the upper volcanics. My favorite part, tectonics. So D1, but I don't want to worry too much about this. It's just like to remember that we at D1 we are dealing with subduction, some compressive regime. So we're going to create these tension gases with mostly east-west to northeast. So compressive feature, and some people believe that Rio Baluarte and Rosario Mande String were formed during these times, but of course, for me it's going to be the porphyry systems. D2, so this is when we subduct the Farallon ridge. So it's no more compressive, so it's a transition zone. So to accommodate the deformation, we have a strike slip faulting, and in that region is going to be dextral. And some people pretend that this is when we form the San Dimas and Tayoltita deposit. I don't know. For D3, so that's one of my specialties. So, yes, we can form gold deposits in extensional regime, especially with metamorphic core complex. So at the beginning, we start with hemigraben, and at the end, if we have enough, we can do the metamorphic core complex. Okay. So once again, that's the work of Paula Montoya. So I totally agree with her that we have 3 generations of deposit that can be formed along the same places. And this is when, again, they can become very complex, is when we have superposition, and that's exactly what we have at Cimarron. And maybe this is why it was difficult to figure it out, because we have superposition of events. So porphyry, base metal, epithermal, and also gold-dominant epithermals. And I invite you to read the article. It's a very good one. Okay, so that's our geological map. Before it was pretty bad, so we fly the drone, and with the textures of the rocks and the compilation of the data, we come up with this. It's not perfect. It has to be mapped on the field, because there's nothing worse than life than mapping with satellite stuff. You have to be in the field, because there's alteration and it messes up with the composition of the rocks. So what we can see is a strong structural control. So northwest, southeast, typical of Mexico, but we have also east-west stuff, and I think that can be. I don't want to put timing in this, but it might be later. And also, we can see a clear correlation with the mag. So Calerita is here, it corresponds to a low. So the sediments, metasediments are there, so it's way more low. So there's a destruction of the magnetite. So I think that's the QSP that destroy the magnetite. Yeah, this is it. And also here we can see the high mag. So, strangely, we have anomaly of vanadium that goes with the magnetite. Okay. So that's my style of presentation. So here we can see 4 types of deposit within the same system. So we have Calerita, which is one of the apophysis. I suspect there's more, especially in that area and that area. I suspect there's going to be more apophysis, but that's one of them. So that's a gold porphyry deposit. After we have the lithocap above, where we can find high sulfidation type of mineralization, and we have it's everywhere. So we have spicarite, breccia vein. So that's more distal, and also it's more in the upper part of the porphyry system. And also we have the green stuff. So the green stuff, I'm not sure because I don't have datation, but visually they are Anderson dikes. They cross-cut the porphyry, and they have gold mineralization. So it's time, for me, it has to be later. And it fits with the model of Paula Montoya, that we have other event that's superposed to it. And that's exactly what happened at Trinidad mine. Here on the little slide, so we have the density of the drill holes on the Calerita, just to give an idea. Okay, so why I believe that Calerita is a gold porphyry? So these are the features. So that's time to take a picture to remember. So we have the mineralization is found within a stockwork of fine quartz veinlets with disseminated auriferous chalcopyrite and pyrite. Of course, it's in the porphyry. So in that case, we're a little bit more mafic. We are the diorite and quartzomonite. I'm not sure because it might be alteration because it's super alterated. And after we have UST vein, so the veins that form during the magma consolidation at the upper part of the porphyry with the different poles. The advanced archetypic alteration above, so that's the lithocap. The QM veins, so quartz moly vein. The calc-potassic alteration with actinide, biotite, and K-spar. We have quartz and K-feldspar vein with suture, so that's typical feature of porphyry. We have calcium fluoride bearing potassic alteration. and that was a good surprise when we did the libs. I'm going to show you the picture so you can believe. And we have also sodic-rich alteration with albite, obviously. We have tourmaline breccia with their tourmaline alteration surrounding them. We have possible diatreme. It's a volcanic breccia and it has the feature of a diatreme. We have gold-bearing spicorite veins. We have also a quartz vein with teeth, with rich chalcopyrite up to 15 gram per ton. And we have applied dikes. So that's the characteristic. And that's a little picture. Here we can see the sodic alteration that displays the veinlets, the first generation of veinlets. And after it's cross-cut by other generation of albite quartz veins. So multiple generation of veins in the same place. For the magma, we're a little bit more mafic than a regular, like a common porphyry deposit. And that's the rocks. Okay, very good example. So that's a lesson of humidity for a geologist. So, okay, that's a monzonite or whatever. So if you look where it's preserved, it's the dark spot, it's the dark zone, and they're blurry. And they're blurry not because of that alteration, because there was an alteration that was there before. And I think it was propylitic at one point. So as you can see, that's the sodic alteration making its damage, and it's cross-cut by multiple other generation. But the albite alteration is tricky because the porphyry are nicer than in the blurry zone. So you can think that was before, especially if you're here, you know. If you don't have this zone, you can believe, oh no, that's the intrusive. No, that's sodic alteration. So it's very tricky. The propylitic alteration is, what I've seen is way more higher temperature than usual. Look, the amount of magnetite, so that's what their transformation of the host rock, a lot of epidote and chlorite, and also amphibole, a lot of tremolite. And also, that's to answer GR. So what is the dark stuff here? It's actinolite. I was surprised. So we did that at the microscope. So tremolite alteration. So it can do some rims around the plagioclase zones. I don't want to say albite because there was also calcium in there. Okay, so libs, yay, power to understand. So that's an example of K-feldspar vein. And also they were looked to me, they had like little stains in them, so that's not typical. So when we look with the libs, we can see calcium, fluorine, and strontium. And of course a little bit of silicium because that's the K-feldspar. I should have put the potassium, but there's not enough space. But you can see we have a calcium, fluorine, potassic alteration. That's weird. That's not typical of a porphyry, of a copper porphyry. Okay, and if we look in the model of David Cook, it would be at the upper part. So for me, it's really important. I do metallogeny because I want to figure out where I am in my deposit. I'm going to invest my money at the right place? This is why you should hire me as a consultant, to not drilling whatever places. And people like Tom Albinson that we have here in Mexico, hire these guys. He's going to make you save money. So we have also illite. So cerussite, white mica. So thank you to George Beltran. So thank you for this. So he did me the study with the TerraSpec. So he was able to confirm that we have the white mica. So why it's important? Because that's the lithocap. So also something that is typical of the gold porphyry. We have proximity, because it's closer to surface, we have proximity to the porphyry intrusive, to the lithocap, because normally it's 2,000 kilometers below. And in that case, we're closer to surface. Okay, QM vein, so nothing new. So, tourmaline breccia, so nothing new. Okay, so that brings tourmaline alteration. So it can come as veinlets, but in some places, I suspect that we have previous alteration that weakening the intrusive, because or else it would just do veinlets. So there's something that weakening, especially in that figure here. we can see that there's something darker that destroy, and it's propylitic alteration. So I suspect that we have different poles of intrusive that create their halo of alteration and that weakening, and when the other one's superposed to it, there's more porosity to do the alteration in the intrusive. And also, that's a picture from GR. So here we can see the biotite. So the biotite is brown, so that's more typical of hydrothermal biotite and not magmatic. And also we can see the tourmaline scavenging the biotite. So biotite, and also you have a rim of quartz around it. So that comes after. So for me, there was maybe a potassic alteration and a tourmaline alteration that comes later. And the white stuff is xenotime, yeah, I think, no, leucoxene, titanium, yeah. Okay, here we have a fragment of the alteration zone with the tourmaline. So we have the timing of the diatreme, let's go, the volcanic breccia. Okay, so mineralization, let's go to the point. So how it looks, so most of the mineralization looks like that, so very altered rock because this is where the rock was weakening. And if we take a look on the veinlets, it looks like that. So very fine chalcopyrite gold bearing. Also, if the rock was previously damaged, and that's the problem with gold porphyry, we have a lot of alteration, it's pretty strong, so there's more weakness in the host rock. So there's more capability to do silicification around the veinlets. And here, there's an example of chalcopyrite outside the vein. That's the picture of the chalcopyrite if you don't believe me. Well, okay. And also, in that case, the vein were they're more oriented. We can say stockwork, but for me, it's oriented stock. So there's like a more specific orientation, which is different from the copper porphyry. Copper porphyry is stockwork, so it's random orientation of the veins. But in that case, is more structural control. Same thing as Maricunga belt, very oriented vein stock. Okay. Okay, so that's something that really gets my attention. And once again, it might sound promotional, but I saw the same phenomenon with Miguel at Rocco, at Santo Thomas. So a good porphyry is a porphyry that have multiple poles. So the more you have poles, the more you bring copper and metal endowment. For example, Teniente, I think there's 7 events that superpose at the same place. So here, what I'm seeing here, so there's like, if the mineralization comes, it goes into porosity, it's because there was some weakness, or else it would do some stockwork. It would go with the structural porosity, but in that case, it's really in the pore of the rock. Once again, the libs magic, so we can, of course, we have malachite, but if we superpose the copper, sulfur, and iron, we can have, obviously, the chalcopyrite. So all the red points, all the red points are the chalcopyrite and pyrite. And of course, relation with other elements. So once again, I was talking about the volatile. So here, the lithium. So we have higher concentration of lithium in the gold-rich zone. What we have also manganese, a little bit higher than usual. Manganese is just different. Like I think it is due to chloratization. Little bit of vanadium, a little bit higher than usual, so that's showing the high temperature of the thing. Fluorine, I was not really convinced. It's present, it's everywhere, but for me it was not typical zonation. Like I could not, it's not that clear as the vanadium. As you can see here, you can see the potassic alteration, the sodic alteration from the not alteration, the porphyry. So the sodium content of the porphyry. So this is it. And also weird thing like rubidium that helps to zonate the deposit. And of course the calcium. So calcium is not supposed to be there, it's supposed to be inside the porphyry. And as you can see, there's no relation with the calcium. There's not a clear relation with the calcium and the porphyry, the plesioclast porphyries. Okay. So the gold, where's the gold? So it's at the border of the chalcopyrite. This is it. So that's the second event I was talking about. So that's andesite dikes. They're porphyric, like really porphyric, like trachytic almost. So, and that's the type of alteration that comes with that, and that's ranging from 1 to 3 grams per ton. Is that super economic? No, but that brings gold endowment to the system. Okay, so yeah, so that's the high-grade gold mineralization. So the blue points, and so they're everywhere on the map. So I was only able to visit these 4 places. Not this one, sorry. Okay, so there are multiple generation of vein. So there are multiple generation of events, hydrothermal events. So the first one is a quartz vein. I have tendency to have some teeth. There's some chalcopyrite in there. I suspect there was something else before. I'm not able to recognize. It's too damaged, but there's something else. And of course, we have the spikerite filling the matrix with the gold. Coming back to the grade, of course, they're very specific structure and they're difficult to follow, but it's a sweetener. Huh? So we could talk about 12 grams per ton on 3 meters. And at Gallo mine, this is what they're focusing because it's very high grade gold. Yeah, and also that's something we don't talk that much. But when we have gold porphyry, sometimes we have these teeth veins and with chalcopyrite bearing, and it's gold rich. It can go up to 20 grams. Okay, so that's very basic 3D modeling. So I tried to put the trend of the structures that we can see, and also we fly with the drone, so we are able to have a better position of the drill holes. So it's not the fault of the people before; it's that they didn't have the tool to do it. But with the drone, we're able to put the drill at the right place, and there's more correlation with the mineralized zones. So here I put like a 0.7, 0.5, 0.3, and 0.1. So of course that's going to be what's going to be economic. The rest is just to have an idea of the halo of influence of the gold overprint. And it's open at depth. So for me it was really important to show that. So I review all the results in the drill holes, and it's there and it's open. So we should drill deeper. Yay. Michelle, maybe you're gonna like that part. So that's because she's the first that recognized it. So she had like a 7.8 grams per ton on distillate pyrite in the Volcanic silica zone. I prefer to say residual quartz due to Hedenquist, or else I'm gonna be blamed again. So we call that low-bow zone because that's one of my friends that find it. So there's very important concentration of pyrite. So this is where we have the high-grade gold. My highest was like 5 grams per ton. So Michelle, you beat me on the results, and that's important. If you're a geologist from Mexico, please pay attention now. Okay, high sulfidation. That's it. So it's a silicification that's superposed to that stuff. This is not mineralized. This is where comes the mineralization, and the pyrite is normally peritoid shape. Okay, so that's my vision of the system. It's early, might be wrong, it's just an hypothesis. So I think we have calerita, we have an apophysis here, another one here, another one there. That's my hypothesis with the mag and what we have in the field. That's going to be the porphyry. There's some little bit of hypothesis. So we have the QSP alteration here, what would be the low. That's the high vanadium with the mag. So that's more potassic alteration. Oops. And, geez. Okay, and also we have the little cap above with the potential of high sulfidation zone in that zone. El Gallo. So El Gallo, so it's located 200 kilometers to the northwest of the property. It's the biggest porphyry gold deposit, in my opinion, in that region. So we're talking about almost 900,000 ounces per ton. Yeah, so what else to say? So they did the production. It was difficult because there's a lot of structural control, there's this discontinuity, so there's a lot of chance to dilute your material and not be economic. So they reopened the project as Phoenix, and they're going to focus on the silver. So good luck for them. And here, for me, I just want to show the evidence that we're dealing with a porphyry, because we have propytic alteration. It's obvious, and propytic alteration is not easy to do. We have spikerite alteration superposed to that. We have another generation of quartz that's superposed to it. And the gold is really in the spikerite, apparently. I didn't do the study. La Trinidad, so that's 28 kilometers to the Cimarron project. So it was mined by Marlin. So the resource is 7.8 million ton, 1 gram per ton. So that's the type of range that we have. So that's the resource. So almost 300,000 ounces per ton. So they just mined 70% of it, but but if it's just 30%, look the size of the open pit. It's big stuff. They're big animals. So I put a picture of the mineralization because that looks like sodic alteration, but it looks like, once again, it's a picture. There's nothing worse than life than looking at a picture and pretend it's something, but for me, I don't know. I would like you to have a second look on this with the right instrument to verify. Okay, so Cimarron would be more in the diorite porphyry type for gold. I put an example of other deposits in the world. So that's Caspice in the Maricunga belt, and that's Cadia. So we would be like similar to here, and they have their lithocup above, so they're pretty economic deposit. Same thing for Refugio. So here what I want to point out is the quartz ionite. So the evidence that we have something more like advanced algebraic alteration above the system. I compared the deposit, and maybe is when I read something in the text that made me think, but I'm not sure. It's not written like black and white. So, but there's a lot of similitude with these deposits. And once again, there's an alkaline component to it. So yeah, so the project is open at depth. It gives an idea of the value. We don't care about that. So conclusion. So I think that Cimarron is a porphyry copper gold. So Cimarron is located in the porphyry copper gold belt. Calerita is a porphyry gold copper porphyry deposit. It's brownfield. Lobo and Evanos, there's a potential for high sulfidation mineralization in there that was never explored. There's no trenching, so that should be done. So Calerita has at the moment 3.7, but with Meotan at 0.65. But with the drilling of GR, the resource might be a little bit higher than this. There's a 4101 on this. Yeah, so same thing again. So I was comparing El Gallo at Caspice. So this is it. I think I'm done. So for me, the more important thing is to thank the people. So I want to thank Michael Feinstein, Abraham, so all these people there. So thank you, because without their work, I would not be able to do it. And also I want to thank GR, and also they pulled me out from the field when I went with my vehicle that was trapped there. So thanks for them. Thanks to Paula Montoya, William Chavez. So thank you for everyone. Okay, so this is it. Thank you for this year. Any question? Any question? Yo. Oui. Okay, sorry. I shoot too much gun in my life, so I cannot hear you.
Your plan moving forward with the projects. Do you have a plan to move forward with these projects? And if you do, what are your plans?
Okay, to go forward, of course. So that information is not released publicly yet. So yes, that company will go further, obviously. Yeah, that's the thing I can say at the moment. And all the detail is in the 4101 on the advice, on the recommendation for the work to be done. Something else? We good? Oh. Ok, entonces el geólogo me pregunta sobre la edad de los metasedimentos. Yo no sé, yo solamente, y eso es muy mal, yo seguí las referencias, disculpe, de los artículos, disculpe. Something else? It's good?